Well, well, well. 3 points, multiple goals, a clean sheet in the Premier League for Chelsea Football Club against Bournemouth. Not perfect, but very, very promising at times. And a lot to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Graham Potter finding balance in his Chelsea team. Welcome back to Football Therapy and to your post-match presser. And today it's more of a Mexican mustache as opposed to a French mustache. I hope you're doing well, friends. I really do hope that, and welcome, of course, yeah, like I said, to the post-match press conference. And look, for 60 minutes, we cooked. And maybe it's when Reece James went off injured, maybe we lost a bit of control because that right-hand side was being completely dominated and cooked to pieces. But get the microphones up for this one. Get them up, because the truth is, midfields win you games, ladies and gentlemen. And when you have a functioning midfield, you can play football. It's just that simple, okay? So get the microphones down, and we will talk about Mason Mount as number 8. We will talk about Denis Zakaria, and indeed Jorginho as well. Just the functionality of the midfield. This was a 2-0 win in the Premier League. It was a very Mourinho-esque because though we cooked for 60 minutes and probably should have scored 4-ish, towards the end of the game, Graham Potter went full Jose Mourinho and decided to protect the lead and went 5 at the back and stank it up, and we did a bit of, gamesmanship, etc., etc. Ladies and gentlemen, Bournemouth. Yes, it's Bournemouth. But since, Matey from the streets was sacked, they've been good. They scored a lot of goals in their final 3 games before the World Cup break. Not only were they in form and scoring goals, they are a bogey team for us. Our record is profoundly bad against Bournemouth in terms of how it should be. On top of all of that, our form before the break was dismal. So I was less confident in this game than I would have been in, I tweeted this, a Champions League semi-final against Real Madrid. This is the kind of game that sticks up, yeah? Do you know what I mean? But we won. There was good performances. We lost it a little bit, and we're going to talk about the lineups and stuff and all that kind of stuff. While I'm here, just quickly remind you guys to drop a like and subscribe should you want to support the channel. That means a lot, friends. Thank you for doing that. Okay, so we went with hopefully our collectively preferred 4-3-3 formation against a 5-3-2 of Bournemouth. They went heavily defensive, but they did try and press us relatively well towards the end. Of course, Dom Solanke leading the line for Bournemouth, once of Chelsea, scored loads of goals in the Championship. I think Liverpool bought him for a little bit, didn't they? Interesting story of Dominic Solanke. He was like... Him and Tammy Abraham came through the ranks at Chelsea, and he was the one that people thought he might be the one that made it. In hindsight, Abraham's had the better career, and I think that's largely because Abraham went on loads of loans, where I think I remember hearing or reading that Solanke was reluctant to go on loans. Tammy Abraham did Championship loans, a Premier League loan to Swansea, and, ended up playing for the Chelsea first team, winning the Champions League, and then obviously winning the Conference League for Roma. High-profile stuff, playing in Europe. Great stuff, but we're not here to talk about Tammy Abraham. We, of course, employed a 4-3-3, like I said, Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, with Koulibaly and Thiago Silva playing the centre-back roles. Interestingly, Koulibaly was right centre-back. Usually he plays left centre-back in a free. Cucurella playing left-back, which, by the way, I think is his best position. I know everyone says he can play left centre-back, left-back, or left wing-back. The truth is, just stick him in the middle of those, left-back. That's what suits him the most. He's not the same as Ben Chilwell. They do play differently. Ben Chilwell will get in the box like a striker, but Cucurella is very good, and he was good in this game. Reece James, of course, at right back, and then we had a midfield of Jorginho as a lone pivot, but we had number 8, hard-working number 8, Mason Mount, who was magnificent, certainly in that first half, Zakaria as well as a number 8, but he's a hard-working, strong, dominant midfielder, number 8, so not more interceptive. So although it's Jorginho dictating play, you've got hard-working number 8s. One's less attacking in Denis Zakaria, and of course Mason Mount is still hard-working and can defend well, but he's still a very offensive and creative player. For that first goal, of course, it was a great assist from Sterling, but the through ball for Mason Mount was sublime. Raheem Sterling was very good as well, frustrating at times. He won man of the match on Amazon Prime, which I think maybe wasn't entirely, I'm not personally entirely sure he should have been man of the match. I think he was very good. Kai Havertz was very good with a goal and an assist, of course, involved in both goals. And Christian Pulisic getting the nod to start, who also was good. I mean, a lot of players were good in this game. We'll talk about the weaknesses in just a moment, but it was good. We saw, obviously, Conor Gallagher come on for Denis Zakaria. Aubameyang came on later for Pulisic, I think. Well, Gallagher came on. We made like a 5-3-2. I don't think Aubameyang should have come on. I think Amari Hutchinson should have come on. I really want to see Amari Hutchinson feature in this Chelsea first team, like in like a Premier League game. Do you know what I mean? I really think he's very good. And, you know, Aubameyang, maybe he's just retained more tactical information and knows what to do when, and he's stronger and older. So when you're trying to see a game out, you bring on Aubameyang. I don't know, but Chelsea had 15 shots in total. 2 goals out of 15 shots. Probably, like I said, should have had more. We had just over 60% possession, a pretty decent pass success rate. And then in terms of tackles and aerials, Bournemouth did more, but they had less of the ball. Of course, in the first 24 minutes in this game, we were 2-0 up. So that first goal, like I said, was a thing of beauty. It was Mason Mount did really well to do that through ball that Raheem Sterling receives, and he executes a wonderful assist to Kai Havertz, looking like an actual centre forward, like a striker, getting in and stretching out to lash it home. 1-0 Chelsea, a great team goal, 16 minutes, and Kai Havertz becoming creator. And Mason Mount, again, he obviously scores this goal, but he does really well when he the ball's behind him and he still manages to intercept and get it. It leaves him, it ends up going to Kai Havertz, who plays it back to him, and he whips it right round. That the angle behind the ball, you can see it wide of the post and curls round so the keeper can't get it. Lovely stuff, but of course, we probably should have scored more in that first half. The halftime analysis was all like, well, Bournemouth will be happy they're only 2 down. And that was very much the case. Just should have, really should have got that third goal in that first half with that profound dominance. And we started the second half very, very strong as well. We had shots, we were dominating. Of course, Reece James has what seems like an aggravated his knee injury. It looked like he walked off, which was great, but he didn't look happy. And of course, he was replaced by skipper Cesar Azpilicueta. Really, really worried about Reece James, because after that, we played well for a few more minutes, but then in terms of, we never had the same dominance. I don't think Reece James lit up the pitch like he can do, but in terms of that combinational play down the right-hand side, Raheem Sterling, I really think it was it's a chemistry thing, isn't it? They both know where to go at the same time. And, the game became difficult. We did have other chances. Pulisic was really unlucky in this game, I think. Of course, he had his shirt pulled. The player behind him pulled the front of his shirt. And yes, he decided to go down. But when his shirt was pulled before that, you could see it was pulling him back. So he couldn't get the ball in the box. He couldn't release the ball. That's a penalty. Yes, he's decided to all right, he's pulled my shirt, I'm going to go down. But it's because he's already been fouled, and he still tries to lash the ball anyway. It's not like a travesty, but for me, it's a penalty. And the one that he lashes home when they say Kai Havertz fouled the player, that's an absolute nonsense for me. It should be 3-0. Yeah, so I feel bad for Pulisic. I feel like he earned a goal today. He wasn't perfect. He made a few mistakes, but he's high octane. He dribbled. He tries things. And he was just worth a goal for me. I think he's very good. So in terms of player performances, Kepa Arrizabalaga went from, having a cigar, chilling out, doing absolutely nothing, to making some big saves, being commanding, being a presence, telling his defenders where to go, and had ultimately a really good game. I'm looking at the Who Scored graphic. He's he's got one of the higher rated players for Chelsea, Kepa. He made saves, he passed well, and he didn't lose his head, which is really good. James was good until he came off. Cucurella was very good, I think, personally. Thiago Silva, we were all worried when he was touching his leg at the beginning of the game, but he ended up having a magnificent game, being so smart and interceptive, positioning immaculate. He played such a beautiful long diagonal. He just always got that in his locker. Koulibaly was good, but at the beginning of the game, he does worry me. He's got these moments where you think, if I had to highlight someone in that near immaculate first half, that worried me. It would have been Khalidou Koulibaly, but he ended up settling into the game and coming up big later on when we were defending our 2-goal lead. Jorginho was good. When you've got a lot of the ball and you're dominating well, you need someone like Jorginho to play really well. Similar with Denis Zakaria, that this was his Premier League debut, by the way, and it was his start in a must-win game. It is a must-win game, trust me. And yeah, he played well. Like, the commentary was saying he's having an understated, really good game, but if you look across social media, he's being rightly praised. He did, yeah. So. He faded a little bit, but that's totally fine. But it's just about the chemistry. I thought Mason Mount was magnificent. Who scored has given him the highest rating on the pitch here. Obviously got a goal and he worked really, really hard. Maybe I would have given him man of the match, but he was, I think he was just excellent, Mason Mount. You can trust him to do whatever. He was creative, he scored an amazing goal, he was hardworking, he was defensively sound. I think he was excellent. Similarly, Raheem Sterling, very, very good game. A couple of frustrating moments. I think Havertz was absolutely immense. Kai Havertz, he deserves a moment here because, of course, he was involved in both goals, but he works really hard as well. And a lot of people thought when he first came to Chelsea, he's this sort of aloof, lanky, talented German guy that, that sort of floats around and doesn't really get stuck. But he gets stuck in, he works really hard, he was left on till the end, he presses really well. He deserves a shout for man of the match as well, both him and Mason Mount. I think they were both excellent throughout the game, personally. And like I said, Pulisic, he had some frustrating moments. I think he also got beat up pretty bad in this game. He took a lot of fouls, Christian Pulisic, so that was kind of tricky for him. But yeah, really, really good in terms of that, the substitutes. Azpilicueta came on, did a job, did a bit of gamesmanship, wasted some time and all this kind of stuff, which is what you want when you're defending a league, showing all his experience, I believe they like to say. And yeah, Bournemouth had their moments towards the end of the game. They pushed, they really had a crack and we had to defend. So we saw, all facets of a game here of what you potentially may have to face. Dominating, and we probably didn't. We came up a little bit short in terms of not capitalising as fully as we should have done. And then under the cosh, defending deep, we did it. Ultimately, Kepa made the saves. We made some defensive blocks, and we leave with 3 points, a clean sheet, and ultimately a good performance, but with a lot of room for improvement still, which is fine and expected. We weren't just going to suddenly be amazing. But the 4-3-3 looks like the one, doesn't it? I know it's only Bournemouth, and many of you are going to say that, but like I said, they're a bogey team for us, and they were in form prior to the break, and they would have had their players pretty much, apart from Moore, that was playing for Wales. I mean, who else was at the World Cup? I'm looking at that 11. I don't think any of them. So they would have all been training all of this last 6 weeks or whatever it's been to play Chelsea with their new appointed manager who's in form. So this was a tricky test. You've really got to consider all that. I'm not going to get overexcited and think like we're back, Chelsea the best, but I'm certainly satisfied. Let me know what you think, though. Are you satisfied? Give me your thoughts down below. We'll return to Chelsea news tomorrow, of course, and talk about the latest headlines. Chelsea being linked with Enzo Fernandez, so keep it locked for that one. Thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you soon. Peace.